world doesn't care what you want. It rewards what you earn. Life doesn't hand out success just because you want it. You don't get ahead because you need it. You don't wake up successful just because you hope for it. The truth? You only get what you work for. Look around. The world is filled with people waiting for opportunities to fall into their laps, waiting for someone to notice them, waiting for life to be fair. But life doesn't work that way. You don't reap a harvest in the fall because you need food. You reap a harvest because you planted the seeds, worked the land, and deserve the result. Some people complain about their struggles, believing life has been unfair to them. But ask yourself, are you truly doing everything in your power to change your circumstances? Are you planting seeds every day, or are you just waiting, wishing, and wondering why success hasn't come yet? Success is not given to the weak. It is earned by those who refuse to quit, by those who show up every single day, ready to fight for their future. The people who make it in life aren't the ones who sat back and waited for a break. They are the ones who created their own. So if you're tired of feeling stuck, if you're done making excuses, if you're ready to take control, this message is for you. Today I'm going to show you how to break free from the soft mentality and adopt the mindset that creates success. Stay with me for the next few minutes as I reveal the truth about what it really takes to deserve success. Let's dive in. Number 1, the harsh truth. Life owes you nothing. Nobody is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you success just because you want it. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you can start changing your life. Many people spend their days complaining about how life has been unfair to them, how they were born into struggle, how they didn't have the same opportunities as others, how they deserve more. But here's the truth. Life doesn't care about your excuses. It only rewards action. Too many people believe that just because they are struggling, the world owes them a break. They believe that because they've been through hard times, success should automatically find its way to them. But life doesn't work that way. You don't get what you need. You get what you earn. You don't see farmers standing in an empty field, crying about how much they need food. They know that if they don't plant the seeds and put in the work, the land won't give them anything. The same applies to your life. If you don't put in the effort, don't expect results. It's easy to blame society, your past, or bad luck for where you are today. But the moment you shift your focus from blame to responsibility, everything changes. Successful people don't waste time making excuses. They take ownership of their actions, their decisions, and their future. They understand that while life is not fair, they still have control over how they respond to their circumstances. They refuse to stay stuck in the victim mindset because they know that waiting for a break is the fastest way to waste a life. Think about the most successful people in the world. Almost all of them faced hardship, rejection, and struggle. They didn't wait for someone to give them an opportunity. They created their own. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before one finally gave her a chance. Imagine if she had quit after the first or second rejection. Imagine if she had said, "Life isn't fair, I give up." The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. The successful ones don't stop. You have two choices in life. You can sit and complain about how unfair things are, or you can stand up and fight for what you want. The moment you stop expecting life to hand you success, you take back your power. You realize that every single day is an opportunity to work harder, improve yourself, and move closer to your goals. No one is coming to give you what you want. It's on you. So what will you do? Will you keep waiting for life to be fair, or will you go out and earn the success you deserve? Number 2, the power of taking ownership. Everything in your life, your success, your failures, your happiness, your struggles, is your responsibility. It might not be your fault, but it is still your responsibility. That's a hard pill for most people to swallow, because it's easier to blame others. It's easier to say, "I'm broke because the economy is bad." It's easier to say, "I'm unhappy because my boss treats me unfairly." It's easier to say, "I can't be successful because I wasn't given the same opportunities as others." But the moment you shift from blaming to owning, everything changes. Most people don't fail in life because they're not capable. They fail because they refuse to take responsibility. They spend years pointing fingers at external factors instead of looking in the mirror and realizing that they have the power to change their situation. The truth is, the longer you play the blame game, the longer you stay stuck. It doesn't matter what happened to you in the past. It's already done. What matters is what you're going to do now. The people who win in life are the ones who take full ownership of their circumstances. They don't wait for someone else to change their life. They own their results and make things happen. Think about this. If two people grow up in the same tough neighborhood with the same struggles, why does one of them become successful while the other stays stuck? It's not about luck, it's about ownership. One of them decides that no matter how bad their situation is, they are responsible for making their life better. They don't blame their upbringing, their environment, or their hardships. They use them as fuel to push forward. The other person, however, remains trapped in a cycle of excuses. They believe that because life was hard for them, they are doomed to stay that way. That belief alone is what keeps them from ever improving. Look at the most successful people in the world, and you'll notice a common trait. They all take full responsibility for their lives. Take Arnold Schwarzenegger, for example. He was born into poverty in a small Austrian village. His parents didn't believe in his dream of becoming a bodybuilder. But instead of listening to their doubts, he took full ownership of his future. He trained relentlessly, moved to the US with barely any money, and worked harder than anyone else in his field. He went on to dominate bodybuilding, then transitioned into acting with no experience. Laughed at his accent and told him he would never make it in Hollywood, but he refused to accept defeat. He worked on his craft, improved his skills, and became one of the biggest action stars of all time. He didn't wait for opportunities, he created them. Another example is Oprah Winfrey. She grew up in extreme poverty, was abused as a child, and faced rejection early in her career. But instead of blaming her past, she owned her future. She worked tirelessly, improved her speaking skills, and fought for opportunities. When she was fired from her first television job, she could have given up. Instead, she took responsibility and used the experience to grow. She later built a media empire, becoming one of the most influential women in the world. She didn't wait for someone to hand her success. She took ownership and made it happen. Taking ownership doesn't mean ignoring the challenges you face. It means recognizing that no one is coming to save you. It means understanding that life will always be unpredictable, unfair, and full of obstacles. But you still have the power to choose how you respond. If you want to change your life, start by changing your mindset. Instead of saying, "I can't lose weight because I have bad genetics," take ownership and say, "I need to change my diet and work harder in the gym." Instead of saying, "I can't make more money because my job doesn't pay well," take ownership and say, "I need to learn new skills, build a side business, or find better opportunities." Instead of saying, "I can't be successful because I don't have connections," take ownership and say, "I will put myself out there, build relationships, and create my own opportunities." The reason most people never reach their full potential is because they wait for external circumstances to change. But the truth is, nothing in your life will change until you do. Your finances won't improve until you take responsibility for your spending habits and income sources. Your relationships won't improve until you take responsibility for how you communicate and treat others. Your career won't advance until you take responsibility for your skills and work ethic. Nothing changes by itself. You have to be the one to change it. So ask yourself, where in your life are you avoiding responsibility? Where are you making excuses instead of taking action? Be brutally honest with yourself. Write it down. Then make the decision today to stop blaming and start owning. No more waiting for things to magically get better. No more excuses. No more hoping for a lucky break. From this moment forward, everything in your life is in your hands. Because the day you take full ownership of your life is the day everything starts to change. Number 3, no one cares. Work harder. Nobody cares how tired you are. Nobody cares how difficult your past has been. Nobody cares about your excuses. The world does not reward complaints. It rewards action. If you want success, you have to be willing to work harder than everyone else around you. Most people want success, but they don't want to put in the work. They want the rewards without the struggle. They talk about their dreams, but when it's time to wake up early, stay up late, or push through exhaustion, they find excuses. That's why most people remain average. The people who succeed aren't necessarily the most talented or the luckiest. They are the ones who refuse to stop. Look at Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest boxers of all time. He once said, "I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion." He knew that his fights were won long before he stepped into the ring. His relentless training, the early mornings, the painful drills, and the exhaustion, that's what made him a champion. He didn't train when he felt like it. He trained every day, whether he wanted to or not. That's what separates winners from everyone else. They do the work when no one is watching. Another example is Walt Disney. Before becoming one of the most influential figures in entertainment, he was repeatedly rejected by newspaper editors who told him he had no creativity. His first animation studio went bankrupt. But instead of giving up, he worked even harder. He kept improving his craft, working around the clock, and refusing to let rejection stop him. Eventually, after years of struggle, he created Mickey Mouse and laid the foundation for an empire. Imagine if he had given up after his failures. There would be no Disney today. The reality is that most people only work hard when someone is pushing them. They need a boss to give them deadlines. They need a coach to tell them to train. But successful people push themselves. They work just as hard when no one is watching. They don't need applause to put in effort. They do it because they are driven by a bigger purpose. Michael Jordan is a prime example of this. He wasn't just naturally talented, he outworked everyone around him. After being cut from his high school basketball team, he didn't sulk or blame the coach. Instead, he trained harder than ever before. He spent countless hours perfecting his skills, practicing long after his teammates had left. Even after becoming an NBA legend, he continued pushing himself, waking up at 5 a.m. for workouts, and constantly looking for ways to improve. He didn't rely on talent alone. He earned his greatness through work ethic. The question is, are you willing to do the work when no one is looking? Are you willing to wake up early while others sleep? Are you willing to study when others are out having fun? Are you willing to push yourself past your limits even when no one is forcing you to? Most people aren't. And that's why most people never reach their full potential. Think about J.K. Rowling. Before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, she was struggling as a single mother living on welfare. She wrote her book in cafes during every spare moment she had, despite rejection after rejection. 12 publishers turned her down, but she kept writing, kept improving, and kept believing in her work. That level of persistence and work ethic is what led her to become one of the most successful authors in history. If you only work as much as everyone else, you will get the same results as everyone else. If you want to be extraordinary, you must outwork everyone around you. You have to be willing to sacrifice, to do more, to push further. Success isn't for the weak, it's for those who refuse to quit. Discipline is the key. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline is what keeps you moving when motivation fades. The greatest athletes, artists, and leaders don't wake up every day feeling inspired. They wake up every day and do what needs to be done, regardless of how they feel. So here's your challenge. Stop looking for an easy path. Stop waiting for inspiration. Stop making excuses. Just work. When it gets hard, work harder. When you feel like quitting, push forward. When you think you've done enough, do more. That's the difference between winners and everyone else. Because at the end of the day, success doesn't care about what you wanted to do. It only rewards what you actually did. So stop waiting and start working. Number 4. Mindset shift. Stop asking, start earning. Success isn't given to those who ask for it. It's given to those who earn it. The world doesn't care how badly you want something. It doesn't care how much you need it. If needing success was enough, everyone would be successful. But the truth is, only those who bring value get rewarded. If you're waiting for someone to give you an opportunity, you'll be waiting for the rest of your life. If you want something, you have to go out and take it. The problem with most people is that they spend their time asking instead of earning. They ask for money, but they don't develop the skills to make money. They ask for a better life, but they don't take action to create one. They ask for opportunities, but they never put in the work to deserve them. Life doesn't work that way. You don't get paid for wanting success. You get paid for bringing value. Take Henry Ford as an example. He didn't just wish for success. He created it. Before Ford revolutionized the automobile industry, cars were a luxury item that only the wealthy could afford. Instead of complaining about how expensive cars were, or asking for someone else to solve the problem, he found a way to make cars more affordable for everyone. He introduced the assembly line, increased efficiency, and changed the industry forever. He didn't wait for a better opportunity, he created one. That's what separates successful people from everyone else. They don't wait for permission. They don't sit around asking for things to get easier. They make things happen by putting in the work. Another great example is Andrew Carnegie. He wasn't born into wealth. He came from a poor Scottish family and immigrated to America with nothing. He could have complained about his circumstances. He could have waited for someone to help him. But instead, he worked harder than everyone else, started learning about the steel industry, and found ways to improve it. He didn't ask for wealth. He earned it by becoming an innovator and a leader. By the time he was done, he was one of the richest men in history. That's the difference between people who succeed and people who don't. The unsuccessful spend their lives waiting for luck, a miracle, or someone to give them a break. The successful take control. They understand that the marketplace only rewards value. If you want more money, you don't ask for it. You learn new skills, solve bigger problems, and create something people are willing to pay for. If you want a better job, you don't just submit applications and hope. You make yourself so good that companies fight to hire you. If you want a successful business, you don't wait for customers. You create products or services that people can't ignore. Think about Thomas Edison. He didn't just sit around wishing for someone to create the light bulb. He worked tirelessly, failing over 1,000 times before finally getting it right. Imagine if he had quit after the first 100 failures. Imagine if he had just asked someone else to invent it for him. The reason he changed the world wasn't because he was lucky. It was because he refused to stop working. He understood that the world rewards persistence, not wishful thinking. This is the mindset shift you need to make. Stop focusing on what you want and start focusing on what you can give. People who constantly focus on their needs never get ahead. But the people who focus on what they can provide to others, they always find a way to succeed. Instead of asking, how can I get rich? Start asking, how can I create value that makes people want to pay me? Instead of asking, why isn't my life better? Start asking, what am I doing every day to improve my situation? Instead of saying, I need a job, start saying, how can I make myself so valuable that no company can afford to ignore me? That's how winners think. They don't complain about not having opportunities. They create them. Success is not about asking. It's about earning. The marketplace does not care about your struggles. It does not care about your excuses. It only cares about what you can deliver. The sooner you accept that, the sooner you'll stop waiting for things to happen and start making them happen. So here's the truth. If you want more, become more. If you want better opportunities, develop better skills. If you want success, become so good that people have no choice but to notice you. There is no shortcut. There is no magic formula. There is only work, value, and persistence. The people who succeed are not the ones who waited for the right time, the right circumstances, or the right connections. They are the ones who took action when no one was watching. They worked while others slept. They gave before they received. So stop asking, stop waiting, start earning. The world is watching, and it only rewards those who put in the work. Number 5, pain is the price. Embrace the struggle. If success were easy, everyone would have it. If greatness required no sacrifice, no one would struggle. But here's the truth. Nothing worth having comes without a price. That price is pain, struggle, and sacrifice. You cannot avoid it, you cannot escape it, and you cannot cheat your way past it. If you want to achieve something meaningful, you must be willing to endure what most people refuse to face. The problem is that too many people want success without suffering. They want the rewards, but they don't want to go through the pain that comes before them. They see the champions, the legends, the history makers, and they admire their victories, but they don't see the years of blood, sweat, and tears that built them. They think success is about talent, luck, or privilege. But success is built on struggle. Look at Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years in prison for standing up for what he believed in. He could have given up. He could have chosen the easy road, but he endured, he suffered, and in the end, he became a global symbol of resilience and freedom. His struggle made his success possible. Without pain, without the hardship he endured, his story would not have had the same impact. Or take Abraham Lincoln. Before he became one of the greatest presidents in U.S. history, he faced failure after failure. He lost his mother at a young age, suffered severe depression, and failed in business twice. He lost multiple elections before finally becoming president. He could have taken those failures as signs to quit. He could have accepted defeat, but he kept going because he understood that struggle is part of the journey. This is what separates those who succeed from those who fail. The ability to embrace pain, not run from it. Most people quit the moment things get hard. They give up when they don't see results fast enough. They avoid discomfort, thinking they can somehow reach success without sacrifice. But success doesn't work that way. Pain is the price. Muhammad Ali once said, "I don't count my sit-ups. I only start counting when it starts hurting because those are the only ones that count." That's the mindset you need to develop. The real work begins when the pain starts. Anyone can put in effort when it's easy. Anyone can show up when things are going well. But when you're exhausted, when everything is falling apart, when you feel like quitting, that's the moment that defines your future. You have to train your mind to accept pain as part of the process. If you want to build muscle, you have to go through soreness and exhaustion. If you want to build a business, you have to endure failure, criticism, and financial struggles. If you want to be the best in your field, you have to put in hours of work while others sleep, rest, or give up. There is no shortcut. There is only struggle and persistence. Look at Vincent van Gogh. He created over 1,000 pieces of art in his lifetime, but he only sold one painting while he was alive. He was ridiculed, rejected, and struggled with mental illness. Yet he continued to paint every day, despite the world not recognizing his talent. Today, his work is celebrated globally, but he never saw the success himself. He didn't do it for money or fame. He did it because he was committed to his craft. That's the lesson. Success isn't always immediate, but the struggle is always necessary. The process will test you. It will break you down. It will make you question everything, but you have two choices: push through or quit. And if you quit, you guarantee failure. But if you push through, you give yourself a chance to make something great. People today are too quick to seek comfort. They want an easy life, a smooth path, and guaranteed success. But comfort breeds mediocrity. If you avoid struggle, you avoid growth. If you refuse to endure pain, you refuse to evolve. The truth is, if you are not willing to suffer for your dream, you do not deserve it. So the question is, how much are you willing to endure? Are you willing to work hard even when nobody notices? Are you willing to fail over and over again without losing faith? Are you willing to keep going when everything inside you tells you to quit? Most people aren't, and that's why most people remain average. But if you are willing to embrace the pain, to take the hits, to fight through the struggle, you put yourself in the position to succeed. Not because it's easy, not because it's fair, but because you are willing to pay the price that others refuse to pay. Remember this, pain is temporary, but quitting lasts forever. Every hardship you face is shaping you, preparing you, and pushing you toward greatness. Don't run from the struggle. Embrace it, because when you finally succeed, you'll know one thing for sure. You earned it. Number 6. The law of giving: serve before you receive. Most people approach success the wrong way. They think about what they can get before they think about what they can give. They focus on how much money they want, how much recognition they deserve, or how much success they should have, without asking themselves, what value am I bringing to the table? But here's the truth. You don't get rewarded for wanting, you get rewarded for contributing. The world doesn't pay you for your dreams, your needs, or your desires. It pays you for the value you provide. This is why the most successful people in history didn't start by asking for money or fame. They started by solving problems, helping others, and offering something valuable. They understood that giving comes before receiving. If you want to be wealthy, you need to create something people are willing to pay for. If you want respect, you need to bring something to the world that earns it. If you want to succeed, you have to serve first. Take Andrew Carnegie as an example. He started from nothing, working low-wage jobs as a teenager. But instead of just doing the bare minimum, he worked harder, learned the industry, and eventually built one of the greatest steel empires in history. But what made him legendary wasn't just his wealth. It was his commitment to giving back. He donated nearly 90% of his fortune to education, libraries, and scientific research. He understood that wealth means nothing if it doesn't serve others. Another powerful example is Mother Teresa. She didn't have riches, power, or influence when she started her mission. She didn't ask, "What can I get?" She asked, "How can I help?" She dedicated her life to serving the poor, and because of her selfless acts, she became one of the most respected and beloved figures in history. She proved that true success isn't measured by how much you take, it's measured by how much you give. The same principle applies to business. Think about Henry Ford. He didn't just build cars, he revolutionized the industry by making automobiles affordable for everyday people. Before him, cars were only for the rich, but he developed an assembly line system that drastically cut costs and made transportation accessible to the working class. His focus wasn't on taking more money from people, it was on giving them something of value. And because he focused on serving first, his wealth and success followed. The problem today is that most people expect results before they put in the effort. They want to be paid before they've created anything valuable. They want recognition before they've done anything worth recognizing. But the truth is, you don't get rewarded until you prove you deserve it. The marketplace doesn't care how badly you need money. It only cares if you're offering something worth paying for. Your boss doesn't care that you want a promotion. He cares if you bring more value to the company than anyone else. This applies to every area of life. If you want better relationships, you have to give more effort, more kindness, more understanding. If you want to be physically strong, you have to give more to your training, your diet, and your discipline. If you want to be respected, you have to give respect first. Everything in life operates under this law. Give first, earn later. Look at Thomas Edison. He didn't wait for someone to offer him success. He worked relentlessly to create something valuable. He failed over 1,000 times before finally inventing the light bulb. Imagine if he had quit after a few failures. Imagine if he had sat around complaining that life was unfair. Instead, he focused on creating something the world needed. And because of that, his name is remembered today. So the question is, what are you giving? What skills, talents, or knowledge are you bringing to the table? What problems are you solving? If you're struggling to get ahead, stop asking what the world can give you and start asking what you can give to the world. Here's a challenge. For the next 30 days, shift your focus from receiving to giving. If you want to grow in your career, focus on adding more value to your company. If you want to improve your relationships, focus on giving more love, patience, and support. If you want to succeed in business, focus on solving people's problems, not just making money. When you make giving your priority, receiving will happen naturally, because the reality is this: wealth, success, and respect are byproducts of service. The more you give, the more you receive. The more problems you solve, the more people will want what you have to offer. The more effort you put in, the greater your rewards will be. At the end of the day, the most fulfilled and successful people aren't the ones who hoard everything for themselves. They are the ones who give, contribute, and leave the world better than they found it. So stop focusing on what you want and start focusing on what you can give. Because the moment you shift from being a taker to being a giver, everything in your life will start to change. Number 7, small disciplines lead to big success. Success is not built overnight. It's not the result of a single lucky break, one big moment, or one genius idea. It is the product of consistent, disciplined effort over time. The difference between those who achieve greatness and those who never reach their potential comes down to one thing: habits. The people who win in life are the ones who show up every day, putting in the work, even when no one is watching. They understand that small disciplines, repeated consistently, create massive success over time. Most people make the mistake of thinking success is about doing something big all at once. They wait for the perfect moment to start. They think they need a grand plan, a huge opportunity, or a breakthrough before they take action. But that's not how it works. Success doesn't come from one major action. It comes from the small things you do every single day. Look at Benjamin Franklin. He didn't become one of history's greatest minds by chance. He followed a strict daily routine, focusing on personal development, discipline, and constant learning. He made it a habit to read, write, and improve himself every day. Over time, those small actions turned him into an innovator, a leader, and a thinker whose impact is still today. His success wasn't luck, it was discipline. Another great example is Bruce Lee. People see him as one of the greatest martial artists of all time. But what they don't see is the relentless discipline that built him. He didn't just train when he felt like it. He followed a strict daily routine of practice, conditioning, and self-improvement. He believed that small, consistent efforts were the key to mastery. He once said, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." That's the power of repetition and small disciplines. If you want to achieve success in any area of your life, you have to commit to daily habits. It's not about making huge changes overnight. It's about making small improvements every day. If you want to be physically fit, you don't need a perfect workout plan. You just need to start exercising daily. If you want to build wealth, you don't need to win the lottery. You just need to start saving and investing consistently. If you want to be the best in your career, you don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You just need to outwork everyone else through daily learning and practice. One of the greatest minds in science, Isaac Newton, didn't change the world through a single discovery. His theories, experiments, and breakthroughs were the result of years of disciplined study and relentless curiosity. He didn't rely on talent alone. He was committed to constantly improving and refining his knowledge. That's the key to long-term success. Mastering the basics, refining your skills, and staying consistent. But here's the challenge. Most people give up too soon. They start working on their goals, but when they don't see immediate results, they quit. They go to the gym for a week, don't see a transformation, and stop going. They start a business, don't make money right away, and give up. They read a book, but since they don't become a genius overnight, they stop learning. This is why most people fail, because they don't have the patience to stick with small disciplines long enough to see big results. Think of it like planting a tree. You don't plant a seed and expect a fully grown tree the next day. You water it daily, nourish the soil, and give it time to grow. It may take months or even years before you see the full results. But if you stay consistent, it will eventually grow into something strong. Success works the same way. You have to plant the seed of discipline, nurture it with consistency, and give it time to grow into something great. The difference between the average person and the extraordinary person is simple: discipline. Anyone can work hard for a day. Anyone can be motivated for a week, but very few people can stay committed for years. That's why so few people achieve greatness, because they quit before they see the rewards of their effort. So here's what you need to do. Start small, but be consistent. Pick one area of your life where you want to improve and commit to a daily habit. It could be reading for 30 minutes, exercising for 20 minutes, practicing a skill for an hour, or saving a small amount of money every month. Whatever it is, start today and don't stop. Because over time, small daily actions lead to massive success. The greatest athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, and the most intelligent thinkers in history all understood this truth. What you do daily matters more than what you do once in a while. At the end of the day, it's not about talent, luck, or intelligence. It's about discipline. If you stay committed, if you show up every single day, if you keep improving little by little, success becomes inevitable. The question is, are you willing to put in the work every single day until success is yours? At the end of the day, success is simple. It's earned, not given. It doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter what challenges you faced. It doesn't matter how badly you want something. The only thing that matters is what you do. You now understand the truth. Life owes you nothing. You must take responsibility for your future. No one is coming to save you. Your success is in your hands. Hard work beats talent. Effort and persistence will always win. You don't get what you ask for. You get what you earn. Struggle is the price of success. Nothing worth having comes without sacrifice. Giving comes before receiving. The world rewards those who provide value. Discipline is everything. Small habits done daily create massive results. The question is, what will you do now? You have two choices. You can walk away from this message, go back to making excuses, and remain exactly where you are. Or you can make the decision to stop being soft and start building the life you deserve. No more waiting. No more complaining. No more hoping for an easy way out. Success belongs to those who are willing to work harder, push further, and refuse to quit. Starting today, commit to something bigger than excuses. Decide that you will take ownership of your life. Decide that you will outwork everyone around you. Decide that you will no longer wait for success. You will earn it. Because at the end of the day, you will either be someone who talks about success or someone who fights for it. So ask yourself one last question. Are you ready to stop being soft and finally take control of your destiny? If the answer is yes, get to work.